If you know anything about the current state of the independent film industry, you know the up-and-coming filmmaker known as Chris V. He's made waves over the industry, breaking onto the scene 3 years ago with Art Whore, a polarizing but widely complex and unique cinematic experience about love, relationships, vulnerability, and betrayal. Last year, he became the youngest screenwriter to be nominated for an Academy Award with the more uplifting but equally polarizing film, Beyond My Days on Earth, at the age of 22. He's currently in the process of making his third film, Thought Process of a Madman, which is shaping up to be Chris's most ambitious project yet. I'm Chuck Meyer, and this is Chris V, a look at the visionary. Unlike many filmmakers, Chris typically starts his days off very late, citing it as all part of his creative process. So you start your day this late, every day, even while filming?
Yeah, I usually start every day at about 11:30, quarter to noon, maybe 10:30 if I really have a lot to get done that day.
But what if you have a shot that requires you to film in the morning? What if you have a scene that takes place in the morning? So, Robbie, you've worked with Chris on his past two films, and you're the lead male in his upcoming film, Thought Process of a Madman. Yes, and rumor has it that you actually suffered personal turmoil through the filming of his last two films. And yet you're back for what Chris has described to me as Kubrick on LSD. Why is that?
Yeah, so that's a warranted question. I mean, I've known Chris since we were in high school together, and even from a very young age, I could sort of sense that there was something different about him. Something that attracted me to his genius and whatnot. I think his skills in filmmaking have always been there, but very, very recently, I feel like he's really unlocked his full potential and sort of realized the conceptuality of filmmaking itself. He's brilliant. It's undeniable.
So you put yourself through personal turmoil over the course of each film production out of obligation to your friendship with Chris?
You see, that's,
Because according to BuzzFeed, Entertainment Weekly, TMZ, and countless other reliable sources, you suffered clinical depression over the course of Chris's first film after he forced you to break up with your fiancée, and there's even recorded footage of you running through downtown Indianapolis shouting, "You're all dead." What happened, Robbie?
You know what, I'm going to stop you right there. Chuck, I think you're sort of missing Chris's genius here. Because you see, suffering is a part of the natural order of things. It motivates us, and drives us as human beings, it connects us, It's truly the essence of humanity. And so if we aren't suffering, then are we living at all?
But why make yourself suffer? Why put yourself through that pain and anguish? What's in it for you, Robbie?
Exactly.
Exactly what?
Exactly that, Chuck. That's why I work with Chris. That's what's in it for me.
So you're saying your partnership with Chris is meaningless?
I think, once again here, Chuck, you're sort of missing the point. So, Chris has a different sort of caliber of genius than the mundane human being. And let me try and tell this in a way you might understand. I'm going to give you a little story.
All right, I'm all ears.
So, as I said, Chris and I went to high school together. And so one day, we're walking back home from school, and I stepped on a caterpillar.
Robbie, I don't see what the fuck this has to do with...
Stop you right there, okay? I'm talking, you're listening. I'm talking, you're listening. Don't you fucking judge me, Chuck. Don't you fucking dare. So we're walking home from school one day, and I stepped on a caterpillar. Yeah, you know what? You're doing that thing, Chuck. You're doing that thing I asked you not to do. You're doing it right now.
What are you talking about? You haven't given me anything that resembles a cohesive answer to my question.
You're judging me right now, Chuck. You're judging me, okay? I'm trying to tell a story. I've lost it. Train of thought, gone. We'll never know. We'll never know what that story was about. You know what? Thank you. Thank you for that. Real Robbie.
Robbie, you're making this incredibly more hard than it has to be.
You're gonna hear from my agent, Chuck.
So, how would you sum up your job as a filmmaker?
Well, I don't really like to think of it as a job, Chuck. I think of it more as a lifestyle. All right, look at it like this. All right, you look outside, blustery wind, discomforting chill, the whole 9 yards. It's a terrible day outside. The typical person's usually thinking, like, this is a terrible, no good, dirty, rotten, depressing day, yawning, caring more, whatever. I'm thinking it's like, the universe is clearly weeping. Something's happened to dampen his spirits. I gotta get to the bottom of it. So in essence, my job as a filmmaker is to capture the essence of the universe's spirit. Yeah. Yeah.
I share something with Chris that I don't really share with most people. There's no underlying emptiness in our relationship. And that's just what I love about working with Chris.
Audrey, I have to bring up the allegations about how close you and Chris really are. Are they true?
No comment.
Audrey, come on, you have to give me something to work with here. I'm trying to get to know the man behind the curtain that is Chris V.
Man behind the curtain? Where the fuck did that analogy come from?
You're close to Chris. What's he like? Is he a good lover? A good provider? What is he, Audrey?
Chris is like Martin Scorsese, reincarnated. He has the same level of depth and complexity.
I was getting nowhere fast, so I decided to go back to Chris and ask questions that would hopefully provide insight into what's going on inside that head of his. So Chris, tell me about your childhood.
Oh man, one of the first things I remember was this short film I shot when I was about 7 years old. What I did was I gathered around like my action figures, McDonald's Happy Meal toys. I got my train set out, whatever I could find really. It was just laying around in my room. And just developed a strong story with well fleshed out characters, a really developed narrative, and just real human emotion.
At 7 years old.
Yeah. What I did was I had Thomas the Tank Engine. His best friend Percy is brutally murdered by Pork Chop, the pet dog from Doug one day. And it really shakes up.
Why would a dog from a Nickelodeon show try to murder a train?
Who knows? I was just a kid. Anyway, so Thomas enlists the help of various other cartoon characters because I created like this wacky Who Framed Roger Rabbit type universe. Because I had the film on VHS at the time, and it was an enormous influence.
That's a pretty risque film for a 7-year-old. Did your parents not object?
Do you think I'm fucking stupid? Do you think I'm fucking stupid? All you reporters do the same exact thing, and exactly why I don't like doing these fucking interviews.
I'm just trying to find the truth, Chris.
No, you're trying to put me under a label, you're trying to seal me up in a fucking cardboard box, put that cardboard box in the fucking warehouse and set that goddamn warehouse on fire. It's fucking sick. It's really, really sick.
I just asked a question about your parents. Where were they?
What? You're still missing it, Chuck. What is a parent really, except what America defines it to be? It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of the universe. It just doesn't. What is a parent? What is it, Chuck?
So that's it then. That's it. All of this is just a defense mechanism because your parents never showed you enough love as a child. That's why you make films. That's why you take advantage of your actors. That's why you credit everything to the universe. That is it.
No, Chuck, that's another label. You want to know who I am, Chuck? Is that what this whole thing's about? You want to know who is Chris V? I am who the universe says I am, and I'm perfectly content with that, and that's all I'm going to say about the matter.
Well, Chris, thank you for your time. And before I have to go, one more question. When should we be expecting Thought Process of a Madman?
It's in the universe's hands.
While Chris V works vigorously on the film that could earn him his first Academy Award, the question still remains, who is Chris V? Is he a repressed child finally coming into his own through filmmaking? A young man still figuring out this thing we call life? an amateur whose genius we have yet to understand, or a ranting lunatic expressing his inner ramblings through the media of film. Only time will tell as Chris works on his already impressive body of work. I'm Chuck Mai, and this has been Chris V, a look at the visionary. Good night.